Welcome back to educator.com. For the next lesson, we're going to go over histograms. A histogram is a bar graph that shows the frequency data that occurs within intervals. So it looks almost identical to a bar graph. It pretty much is a bar graph, but the difference is that the bar graph just shows you the relationship between two different variables, two different things. We know a bar graph looks like this, right? Okay. Something like that, where this represents something and this represents something, right? Now, a histogram is almost identical to that, except a histogram shows the frequency, okay? It shows how many times something occurs, how frequent something occurs. So, and it's also going to be within intervals. So on this side, okay, this horizontal side right here, okay, this is going to show the intervals. And then this right here is going to show the frequency, how many times. So let's say I have a set of numbers. So I just have my data. And let's say it's going to be 7, 11, 1, 12, 5, and 14. Okay, so I have 6 numbers. Now, the first thing I want to do to create a histogram is to find what I want my intervals to be in. Okay, so then I'm going to set intervals here. Okay, meaning I'm going to it's going to be numbers between 1 and 5, then 6 and 10, then so on. So you're going to kind of create the groups. Okay, so for this, let's say I'm going to do exactly that. So it's going to be 1 through 5. My interval is going to be 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, then 11 through 15. So it's going to be every 5. So let's say I'm going to do 1. So from here to here is going to be 1 through 5. Then from here to here is going to be 6 through 10. Then from here to here is going to be 11 through 15. Okay, and another thing about histograms is that the bars that you're going to draw, they're going to be stuck together. Okay, there's not going to be any space in between them like the bar graph. Okay, because it's in intervals, all the numbers are going to fall in between one of these numbers, right? So then all the bars are going to be stuck together, okay? And then here, it's going to be the frequency. So this is the frequency. So how many times those numbers occur? Okay, so step 1 was to create the intervals, right? And then what I want to do, just to make things a little bit easier for me to graph, let's tally up, okay, how many times the numbers fall into the intervals. So I'm going to just do 1 through 5, write my intervals, 6 through 10, 11 through 15. Okay, so let's say, okay, I'm going to tally up. Every time a number falls under that category, that group, okay, I'm going to tally it up. So 7, the first one, is right there. That's a tally mark for this group. 11 is going to fall under there. 1 is going to fall here. 12 here. 5 here. And 14 is going to be there. Okay. So the frequency from this group 1 through 5 is going to be just 2. 6 through 10 is going to be just once. And then 11 through 15 is 3. So the frequency here, I'm going to just do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the most I see a group's going to be is 3. Okay, that's the most, right? So now all I have to do is create my bars. The first one, 1 through 5, what's the frequency for that? 2. So I'm going to graph that. Okay, I can shade it in. Okay. And then the next group, 6 through 10, is just once. So it's going to be like that. Okay, and then my third group, frequency, 3 times. So go up to 3. Write that in. Okay. And that's it. That's your histogram. Okay, so again, the first thing you do when you have a set of data like that, the first thing you want to do is kind of look at your data, look at your numbers, and decide on your intervals. Okay, how do you want to group up those numbers? And then once you do that, tally up how many times those numbers fall into that group. Once you do that, you're going to create your intervals here, create the frequency here, and then you're just going to draw your bars. And that's a histogram. Okay, so then the first example, we're going to draw a histogram for the frequency table. So here it gives us the intervals and the frequency. So all we have to do is draw the histogram. Okay, so remember that this right here, the horizontal part of it, we're going to create the intervals. So say 1 through, and I have 4 different groups, 4 intervals, right? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be 1 through 4. This will be 5 through 8, 9 through 12, 13 through 16. The frequency is going to be here. So look at the biggest number is 8, right? So then I know I have to show up to 8 on this part right here. So it'll be, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 1 through 4. So 1 through 4, the frequency is 5. So I'm going to go all the way up to 5. Okay. The next one is 5 through 8. Okay. 5 through 8 is 3. So go up to 3. And the next one is 8, 9 through 12. That interval is 8. So then up to 8. And then I don't have any more colors, so I'm just going to use black again. 13 through 16 is 7. Go up to 7. Be nice if you have a ruler, you could draw these straight lines. Okay, so that's it. That's the histogram. So again, intervals, the frequency. The age of each child that attended a summer camp is given. Create a histogram of the data. Okay, so then we have all the ages of the children that attended the summer camp, right? And again, the first step is to create your intervals. So you want to create how you want to group up all the numbers. So it's really up to you. If you want to create more intervals, then you can make the groups smaller, right? You can make each numbers for each group smaller. Or if you want to create less intervals, then you have to make the groups a little bit larger, right? So to create the interval, you kind of want to look at the biggest number. So the biggest number here, or in this case the oldest child, is 17. So you know that you have to fit, and then the smallest number here is 2. So youngest is 2, the oldest is 17. So you have to kind of create your intervals based on those numbers. So let's see, I want to create my intervals in every 5. So let's say 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 20. And remember, whenever you create your intervals, make sure that each interval has to be the same. Okay, it has to be the same number for each number of numbers for each group, right? Okay, so 1 through 5, and then see here, it's 1 through 5, and then through 10, and then through 15, and then through 20. So I know that's the same for each group. And then next step, once you create your intervals, is to see how many fall under each group. So let's tally up the numbers. So 5 is going to go into this group. 11 is going to fall under 11 through 15. 3 is right there. 9 in there. 6 is going to go right there. 7 in there. 8, 15, 10. So once you have 4, just make that the 5th one. And then 4 in there. 14, 10, 5, 8, 17, 14, 2, 12, then 12 right there. So I have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18 numbers total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so now that I have my intervals and I have the frequency of each interval, I can create my histogram. Okay, so then just draw that, and then you're going to draw that. Okay, so then these numbers here are going to be the age. Okay, age. This is going to be the frequency. Let's see, I'm going to need 4 intervals, so it's 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, 3 and 4. So 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 20. Okay, and then see here, the most that occurs, this one, 7. So then I know I have to list out up to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first one, 1 through 5. Okay, that interval, I have a 5. So drop to 5. The next one is 7. So up to 7. 11 through 15, another 5. And then I'm going to use black again. 16 through 20, the last one is just only one person that falls under that age group. Okay, and that's it. That's your histogram. Okay, the next one, create a histogram of the following test scores. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 scores. For this one, I probably want to create my intervals maybe in tens, so 50s. I know that my smallest number is 50 here. My biggest number that I see is a 96. And because these are test scores, it'll kind of help me see, okay, how many fall under the, how many scored within the 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, so then let's just create our intervals 50 through 59, then 60 through 69, 70 through 79, 80 to 89, then 90 to 99. Okay. So, see the first one, 50, right there, 56, 82. And again, what I'm doing is the first thing I did was create my intervals to see how many groups and how many numbers will fall under each group. And then now I'm taking the numbers and the data and I'm going to tally it into the groups, okay, to see how the frequency of each interval. Okay. The next one is 79, 71, that's my there, 65, 90, 85, 83, 64, 96, 92. Okay, that means this way I can kind of see, okay, that means I have, if you scored within 50 to 59, that's an F. So 2 Fs, this is a D, 2 Ds, 2 Cs, 3 Bs, and 3 As. That's good. We have majority of the scores being Bs and As. So this kind of helps you see, right? It kind of helps you see, okay, well, how many of each there are. Okay, so then once you have this done, you can go ahead and create your histogram. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. Okay, so then I have 5 intervals, 5 groups. So it's going to first right there, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be 50 through 59, 60 through 69, 70 through 79, 90 through 99. Okay? And for the frequency, so these are all the scores, right? Label that scores. Then this right here is always going to be the frequency. And here, the group that occurs the most is 3. One of these, which is 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I always like to do one more than I need. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then let's just create our bars now. So then the first group, 50 to 59, is 2. So you're going to draw the bar up to 2. Okay, the next one, 60 to 69 is 2. So also 2. Oh. 2. The next one is also 2. 2 C's. The B's, we have 3 of them, and I only have 3 colors, so I'm going to go back to black. Go up to 3. And then I'm going to use blue again. 90 to 99, so the A's, 3 of them. Okay. So that's our histogram, and then that way we can kind of see our data a little bit clearer rather than when they're listed out like that. If they're like this, and I can see, okay, well, since these are all the different scores, F, D, C, B, A, I can see where how frequent each of them are, right? So that's the whole point of the histogram. Okay, and that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching educator.com.